just a material bridge, and I'll get into why you guys actually need a material bridge and the advantages of that. But for the most part, you've got a V configuration running on an inverted angle iron. You've got one on the fixed side of the table, one on the opposite side of the table, and runs the length of the bridge. There's two stops. There's a limit switch stop on one end and one on the far end. And with the material bridge, you can actually crank this thing by hand. You need more mechanical advantage. You can actually slide this, this rod mechanism down and re-bolt it into other holes. So you can go ahead and crank it back and forth. That's the manual version. You got a red push button mushroom switch. You pull it up, the red light comes on, indicates you have power. If I'm going to go ahead, I've got a return, general return, and I've got a rapid return. Rapid return, I get done unloading all my components, or my sheathing, or my sheetrock, or just my studs, my 2x6s, 2x10s if I'm doing floors with the material bridge. You can hit rapid return, and the bridge itself will start to take off, and it'll go down to the other end and park itself, hit another limit switch and stop. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and stop it, and I'm going to go ahead and return it on a rapid. We've also got manual controls, which will show you. We'll clip the video. It's actually going to come up here. It's going to hit a limit switch stop. Boom, it just did on the opposite side that's attached to the floor track, on the opposite side outside the camera viewing. Okay, I've got a rheostat control on here. So this is wide open. And you say, okay, what do I need a rheostat control for? Now, the advantage of that is I'm actually going to have, say, my 2x4s or 2x6s, 2x12s, 2x10s up here. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the bridge out, and I'm going to have it, if I'm pulling sheathing off or I'm pulling studs off, I can speed this up to, depending on how fast my operators are, or how fast you want to drive production. And you're going to go ahead and start throwing your studs across. That's what you're doing each and every time, and you lay them in the stud locators, and the guys can just keep pulling them off. If it's going too fast, you can actually slow it down. Same thing with your sheathing. The guys are actually going to take a piece of sheathing, if there's a bunk up here, half a bunk, tip the first one down so it actually rests on here, and then flop it right back over. So the bridge is actually getting out of the way as one guy on this side, the fixed side, one guy on the adjustable side, start throwing the sheathing down on the table, and away you go. This is the material bridge that we have here for you. Cranks real easy, runs automatic, one main drive system that drives on both sides, so you don't really have a dog leg going back and forth like some bridges out on the market currently do. Okay, the main control box on a material bridge, similar in some ways to some of our other bridges that we currently have on the market. You've got a main mushroom button that we have right here on the left-hand side of the screen. You pull it on, light comes on, it's a red button. You can see we've actually got little drawings that are on here. When it's pushed down low, it's in the off position. When you pull it up, it's in the on position. That's also identified in here. Hopefully you can see that through the view. We've got the drive system. You can turn it off. You can turn it on, however you choose to. We've got a rapid return. The rapid return actually takes the bridge and runs it back to the park section on the fix, or the start end of the table. Rapid return on yellow. The button on the right-hand side of the screen takes it to the opposite end of the table, to the exit side. We've also got a standard return. So if you want to run things, this is a rheostat control in the center. So once again, if I want to return the bridge, get it out of the way so I can actually pop up the wall and get it offline, I'm going to go ahead and use the green button, get the bridge out of the way. Or likewise, if I want to go to the right, whichever way is easier, quicker, or faster for the operator to get the bridge out of the way so you guys can actually pop the wall up and get it offline or lift it off with a crane system. Now with the rheostat, this button here, when you go all the way to the left, it's just basically crawling. It's going really slow. And I go about halfway, it's increasing speed. I go all the way clear to the right, we're going fairly fast. So, I'll do it again. I let go of it. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to slow it way down. I'm going to stop it. I'm actually going to bring it back. I can speed it up as we go. Now, why are we doing this? Get this back in the frame of the camera here real quick. Now, we have a rheostat control in here for a couple good reasons. Number one, we are trying to drive production. Not necessarily, we're not looking for the operators to dictate how fast things need to go. Everything's going to run nice and smooth, and you're going to have a good flow to things. But what you're trying to do is get this rheostat set so the operators, the bridge is always right out ahead of them. By the time they get the sheathing taken off, or they've got their 2x10s, 2x6, or I-joists they're pulling off, the bridge is out of the way, and they're grabbing the next one and laying it down each and every time. You've also got a manual control on here, so you can hand crank this if so desired. It's got an adjustable feature here. There's several holes here. You can move it clear out to the edge. If, for instance, you've got a tremendous amount of weight, generally about 2,000 pounds is on here. About a half a bunk of OSB or plywood is actually on here, because the higher you get on this thing, you know, all of a sudden you're out of the guy's reach, and you don't want to be doing that. So you want the bunk about halfway down. They start unloading the wall. They send the bridge back. Somebody go ahead and puts another half a bunk on, and away you go. If you're going to be doing 2x10s, 2x12s, load the thing. Okay, put a bunk on there. Let's get going, guys. Always be aware of, you know, how high you can go. The other beauty of this thing, when I do pull it on, we've actually engaged. We've got power into the bridge itself, and then every time we disengage it, we shut the power off. There's an SMC dump valve that's outside the camera shot here, but it dissipates and dumps all the air. Okay, so the bridge isn't going to want to drive or move or stub somebody's toe or anything of that nature. Okay, that's the material bridge, brought to you by Triad. If you got any questions, call the factory at 1-800-568-7423, or go look us up online at triadruvo.com. Once again, my name is Russ Merrick, and I'd like to thank you for your time.